Hello, fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. Today is the first episode of the Movie Crusaders ride through the Star Wars galaxy. As today we are going to be talking about Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. This is going to be a very fun episode, I feel, because we got two guys with me today. One's a first-timer here. That is Mark Kmeyer. Mark, how are you doing? Welcome, fellow Movie Crusader. You are now finally on the show. About damn time. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, and thank you for finally having me. And of all the movies you could finally have me, you chose this one. This is going to be a spectacular something.
I agree. Like, I've been trying to get you on here for a while now, but it just hasn't worked. And I'm glad that I got you on this particular one. And of course, right below us, you guys all saw him last week with our Jojo Rabbit spoiler review. Jay Burns, how the hell are you?
So it turns out Jojo's not actually a rabbit.
No,
he's just a little Nazi.
Yeah, that is very, very true. Jojo is not a rabbit. It was false advertising the whole way through.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so anyone who's going to go see Jojo Rabbit expecting to see a boy turned into a rabbit, you will be very, very disappointed.
But we're not here to talk about regular Nazis.
Right.
We're here to talk about space Nazis. Wait, no, we don't get to that for another movie.
Yeah, I was like, that's true, but not in this film.
We don't get to that for
really.
another movie.
So
That's
we-
right.
we're
We're here to talk about
thing.
Phantom Menace. Oh my god.
Yes, Phantom Menace, probably I would say the second most disliked Star Wars. No, probably third now most disliked Star Wars.
It's not. No, it's not, and you know it.
Are you saying Clone Wars, the animated series or the animated movie, and Solo are more beloved than Phantom Menace?
Beloved? No, I'm just saying.
Which one made $1 billion?
You know, let's call it what it is. It's bad, but not the worst. But not you know what I'm saying here. We're not getting to the worst one just yet.
It's middling, is what you're looking for.
I mean, if we're going by the worst, if you take the Clone Wars movie out of the equation, this to me is my least favorite one. But we're gonna get into. I know you guys. I know which one you guys all hate, and it's gonna be a very long episode for me because you guys. I like that one, and you guys are just gonna shit on me the entire fucking episode, and I can't wait because that's gonna be a very fun episode where I'm basically just doing this and punching and blocking. But then again, when Kirk and Jay are on for Last Jedi, because I'm gonna go ahead and get people ready for that. When we do Last Jedi, it is basically just going to be a slaughter between Kirk and Jay fighting, and all of us just sitting here and just enjoying the show.
Hey, I'll go to war with Jay on that one. Okay, like alongside him. So you know,
Necronomicon for life.
So Kirk might get double teamed. That's all I'm saying.
And Brian and I are just gonna sit there and just enjoy the show.
He might like it.
You know, put a little bit of things in here. But
epic foreshadowing.
Exactly. But today we are talking about Phantom Menace. I think all of us were at least alive or at least close to being teenagers, if not teenagers, when this one came out. Was it 1999? Why are you shaking your head, Jay? How old were you in 1999?
In May, on opening day, when this movie came out, I was 8 years old. I hadn't turned 9 yet, and I was waiting in line for 3 hours to watch this movie.
I think I just walked right in. I didn't have to wait long. I think I maybe waited in line for like an hour. Mark, did you have to wait in line?
Fun fact, this is a Star Wars movie I did not see in theaters. I waited.
You didn't miss much.
You know, because I was 12 years old, and at that point, I didn't care about a new Star Wars. You know, as far as I was concerned, Star Wars already happened. I didn't need another one. And then I didn't hear great things from the people that did go to the theater to see it, so I said, I'll wait.
So at 12 years old, you were already a jaded Star Wars fan.
I was a casual fan at best. Okay. And so, yeah, you know, I wasn't
right.
Since then, yes, and I'll be quite honest, and I know it's probably blasphemous to say, but these sequels and some of the spinoff, or well, one spinoff, has kind of helped further my love for the whole series. I'm just gonna call it what it is.
I'm not gonna argue with you with that. I agree. I'm one of the few people that, yes, I know the prequels aren't perfect by any means, but I like them. I will watch them just as much as I will the originals, and even the spinoffs. And the TV series. I loved Clone Wars. I loved Rebels. I cannot wait for The Mandalorian.
Oh, same.
Which actually, by the time this video comes out, I think at least, is it the whole season or is it each week? I think it's one each week.
It might be. I'm actually. Is it one each? Okay, I wasn't sure how Disney.
They're not going to. They're not going to. Star Wars is Disney's not going to do that. It's going to be one each week. I think you get one or two on the first week, and then it's one a week.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll be like 1 or 2 episodes into Mandalorian when this video drops. So yes, guys, this is not live. This is pre-taped. But yes,
about a month
behind the curtain.
It's not by a month. It's like by 2.5 weeks, if that. But yes, so first off, what we're going to do is we're just going to initially talk about Phantom Menace, what our initial thoughts were of it, and then we're going to go a little bit more deeper into it. At least that's the game plan, but with these two guys, I'm sure this is going to go off the rails more so than it already has been in these first 8 minutes. But let's start with Mark. Mark, you said you did not see this in theaters. So, like, when did you eventually watch this? You said you were 12 when this came out.
Today.
So when did you actually finally watch it?
No, I wish it had been today, because that would have been. You just be seeing this confused look on my face, like, why was this a movie? No, I think I saw it when it came out on home video, and we rented it. I know my brother, who was really young at the time, wanted to see it because it just looked fun for him, and for him it was fun. And then when I watched, I went, nothing about this movie reminds me of the Star Wars movies that I know. Nothing about it, except for there's more lightsabers this time around, and the villain looks pretty cool. That's awesome. But ultimately, again, I wasn't a massive Star Wars fan at the time. And when this came out and I finally saw it, I went, okay, that's a movie. It says Star Wars, sure. It introduced, it reintroduced me to Natalie Portman. So I said, oh yeah, that's the girl from Leon the Professional. Cool. She's in this. And it felt to me just like a crazy, weird sci-fi movie that ultimately I was just kind of lukewarm on. And as I've watched it further through the years, this movie just does not agree with me in terms of being a fan of the series, as a fan of the sci-fi genre, sci-fi fantasy more like. And that's pretty much my consensus on the movie.
So basically, Mark's perception of Phantom Menace is how we all felt when we saw the Ewok adventure movies.
Yikes.
Jay, once you stop pausing Madden, tell us what your thoughts were on Phantom Menace. I see your glasses, sir.
That's fine.
Busted.
That's fine. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. I'm looking at a beautiful visual. I'm looking at a beautiful visual of Tatooine, the Great Dune Sea, where sand is not rough, coarse, and doesn't get everywhere. Isn't irritating.
Not yet.
No. Like we said in the opening, which you probably already cut out, but I was 8 when this movie came out. I waited in line for 3 hours. You didn't have to. Good for you. You didn't have to wait. I did. And at 8 years old, a 3-hour wait in line is a 2.5-day long car trip. It's boring as shit. Then I got into this movie and saw a kick-ass trailer for The Matrix before this movie. And then was like, the best part about this movie was the trailer for The Matrix. And then I thought about it some more and then watched it again and have gone back as a self-proclaimed large Star Wars fan. Large in the sheets, large in the streets, large in the fucking feets. Star Wars fan. No, I've watched this movie about 20 times. Most recently today, just to get freshened up on the takes that are about to happen. Not that any of them are going to be hot, because this movie's 20 fucking years old, so it'll be a lukewarm take at best. I liked it more and more the older I got. As a matter of fact, I'm not gonna lie. This is one of those ones that I started and I was really soured on. We're talking about the jaded 12-year-old Star Wars fan earlier. Fuck, 8 years old. I was like, I didn't want this movie. This movie sucked. But I'd already seen Luke Skywalker at that point in time. But we'll get into it later on in the movies. But I've watched this movie a lot. I don't hate this movie now, there are some redeeming qualities to an overall bad movie to be found in here, and I can't wait to actually talk about it.
Yeah, I mean that. Like, I was 14, I believe, when this movie came out, and I like my household, huge Star Wars household. My dad has all the Star Wars books, which he got incredibly pissed off at when they all went non-canon, which I thought was fucking hilarious. But yeah, so I was brought up as a Star Wars guy. When the special editions came out in theaters, I got taken to those because my dad said I needed to see the originals on the theater screen, which he was right. It was gorgeous. So when this one came out, I was super excited because it's more Star Wars. I never thought we were going to get that again, and then we got it. 14-year-old me, I was probably just so amped that we got a new Star Wars movie that when I watched it the first time, I was like, that was great. And then I got to like 16, 17 years old where my movie brain got smarter, and I watched it again. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking awful. It's like, but over the years, because I've rewatched it many, many times, just like Jay has, and Mark, you as well.
Yeah.
Yes, there are some redeeming qualities in this movie, but you have to find them. It is basically like finding a diamond in a piece of shit. You have to get through a lot of shit to find the diamond, which I'm sure we'll discuss that. So, and I even loved it with Fanboys, the movie Fanboys, that not enough people talk about, where it's like they're all sitting in theater and they go, wait, what is this movie?
What if it sucks?
Cut the black. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what that thought process was. But yeah, I mean, it's my least favorite of the episodic films. But there's still things to like in the movie, and that's what we're going to get into. So, I mean, for me personally, I think the one thing that really made this movie fall apart, and no, it's not Jar Jar. It was the wooden dialogue and how everyone in that film, for the most part, felt like they were on Xanax. The delivery of like fucking everybody in that movie was like, but no, you can't do that. And
I'm a Thudarian.
Not to mention the racial slur stuff, which I'm sure Dave's going to dive into. But
there's so much.
There's so many.
There's so many.
I want to know if you two spot this, because I watched it today too to get refreshed for it. Is it just me, or is Ewan McGregor, who I love, by the way? I think he was a fantastic Obi-Wan eventually, but not in this film. Not in this film, but
yeah, after he got to play it for a decade,
up until he gets to the Gungan Palace or Gungan, whatever you want to call it. Which you two are the fandom guys, so you guys are gonna know the Star Wars names a lot better than I do. So I'm gonna rely on you guys to say that. But up from the beginning of the movie to when they get to Boss Nass, Ewan McGregor cannot say a line without smiling or smirking. Like,
I mean, if you were cast in a Star Wars movie.
But there's that one part where it's like, well,
I would give all my lines with this dumbass face.
I mean, there's that one part where he's like, you were right, the negotiations were short. And then there's that part where like they're on Naboo, and Jar Jar's like, no, we can't go to the Gungan Palace. I'm banished. And he's like, we're about to get like I'm butchering the fucking line, but it's like we're about to get boiled to little pieces. And as he's saying, he's fucking grinning the entire time. It's like. Ewan.
That sound? That's 1,000 machines ready to tear us into little pieces and scatter us to the wind.
Well, that was Qui-Gon that said that. But and then Obi-Wan talks, and the whole time he's just like smirking the entire time he's talking to Jar Jar. It's like, stop smiling, man.
I think I may have your answer to that.
What's that?
He was directed by George Lucas.
I mean, that's very cool. That's very cool.
And George is notorious about not giving actors, I was going to say good direction, I'm just going to say it, not giving actors direction, except for make it more, I don't know, whimsical, I don't know, whatever. And that's probably what he told you at some point. It's like, well, you're a Padawan. You should be more jazzed. You know, you're not. Yeah, it's not until the journey later in the film when Obi-Wan is kind of siding more with the council, because that's what he believes needs to be done. Because who is he to question the council about, you know, the way they do things, the way they operate. Whereas here's Qui-Gon, you know, not on the council because he understands and recognizes how just he doesn't agree with the things that they're doing. Like there's stuff wrong here, and I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm going to do things my own way. I'm gonna find the good within the shades of gray. And I guess Ewan McGregor at the beginning of it, I hadn't noticed that until you just pointed that out. And you're right. You're absolutely right. He does.
Even Liam does too at certain points. Like there's that one part where like where Jar Jar and them are in the boat.
Yeah, you're right.
And he goes
the bongo.
Yeah, he's like, go up to the left right there.
I think that's just Liam Neeson's face at the time.
No, it's like smirk. It's like everyone's smirking through the first half of this film. It was
because they're Jedi. They're full. They're supposed to be full of. They're supposed to show no emotion except for they are filled with the light. And I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't tell you. I mean, if we're gonna harp on that, then we're gonna be here all night because there's so much more to question. Go, why that?
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, I mean, and we'll get to the racial parts of it here shortly. But I mean, for the most part, and yes, it's a thing throughout the entire franchise. For the most part, is the wooden dialogue and the direction by George Lucas. At least in the first 6 films, everyone is very wooden with their delivery. There are some times where we actually do get some freaking acting in this movie and in the other ones, but for a lot of it, especially Shmi, good God, she is not able to deliver a single line without any emotion in that film, and it's atrocious.
In all fairness, I would. I'm getting a mad echo. Hold up. In all fairness, what I think it is it's more along the lines like English is her 4th language. She doesn't speak English really well.
Are you talking about the actress? Or are you talking about the character?
The actress.
Okay.
The actress, I want to say, English is like her 3rd or 4th language.
Didn't know that.
So, I could be wrong. It's one of those things that you come across on the interwebs from 1999 to 2019.
Okay. But yeah, I think everyone agrees with that. Is that it is very, the dialogue and the deliveries are very, very poor throughout the film, which doesn't help with the story being a little bit more lackluster. But I know Jay is biting at it. It's like, so Jay, I'm letting you loose. Go ahead with all the racial shit in this film. Have fun.
There's so much, and it's so bad.
And it happens so quickly in the film.
The Viceroy.
Like, it happens right away. Like, George basically slaps you in the face with it immediately.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Send it all.
I assure you, it is perfectly legal. Bro, no, just go back and legitimately think about this. George, is this okay? And if you still say yes, maybe you should have sold to Disney a little bit sooner.
I just can't believe someone, because like I know it's George Lucas and it's Star Wars and that's his thing and like he calls the shots. He's the director, sure. You're telling me no one in the whole studio said maybe not that? Maybe not.
One of those things where maybe they said that, but they were also too damn afraid to tell George that.
But it's 20th Century Fox at the time, and like at that time, 20th Century Fox, they didn't care about anything, especially continuity or just like. You think they would care if they hurt George's feelings about like, hey, you sound your character sound a little bit racist. Maybe don't do that. Maybe that's not a good idea.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They're aliens. That's how aliens talk. I made Star Wars, bitch.
I mean, you might be right. That might have been the rebuttal. It's totally plausible. And it's like, and Fox just said, to hell with it. We're just going to release it, and whatever happens, happens. And sure enough.
You know what, George? This one doesn't make $1 billion too. You don't get a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, with the Viceroy and then the Gungans, I mean, it was very, very rough in terms of that. Now, I mean,
Gungans,
I guess
they have a problem with the Gungans, though. The Gungans, I don't.
It's
have
just
a
the
problem
one.
Yeah, it's the
It's
one.
just the one.
It's the one. I don't think anyone really had any problems with like Boss Nass or
Ahmed
what's
Best.
the other one that they actually give a name to?
Captain Tarples.
Tarples, yeah.
Tarples, yeah.
He was fine. Boss Nass, I mean, he had the kind of thing, but I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, then we got Jar Jar.
I'm not even talking about Ahmed Best. That man's been through it way too much when it comes to toxic Star Wars fans. So I won't. I'm not gonna knock you for it.
He did what he was told to do.
It's true, he did.
He did what he was told to do.
No, yeah.
You know,
Watto.
But Watto.
Yeah, Watto.
But Watto.
That is the one, and we'll get to that when we get to like the start of the second act in the movie, and we start talking about that.
Yeah.
But I'm a toy daddy, and no, shut the no. I have issues with this, and we will get to it when we get there.
Yeah.
You're spot on with Watto, so you can't get mad.
I know it's funny, but it's
so
cringe.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, we get to
Watto.
Thank you. I worked on that one.
And it shows. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know.
Well, I did talk Hitler up a lot during that Jojo Rabbit spoiler review.
Yikes! That's right. Yeah, go watch that, y'all.
But yeah, I mean, at least for the most part, we do start with the action right away. With them on the Trade Federation ship. I mean, we got introduced to the J Love saying the quotes, the joy to cause. Go ahead, Jay.
No. You're just making me look like a racist because I'm pointing out shitty dialogue said by racist caricatures.
He's not wrong.
Let's look at the positive here.
Okay.
Not going to send it to droidicas.
Those droidicars, I mean, what are they actually called? Because they're not called droidicars.
They're battle droids.
Battle droids.
Battle droids are the skinny ones. I'm talking about the rolling ones, the ones with the force field.
Those are battle droids, right?
I thought battle droids. I thought were just the skinny little annoying ones.
Maybe so. Yeah.
I thought those were just droids.
We should have brought in a Star Wars expert.
That's what you two are, sir.
I never said I was an expert. Never. Did you not hear earlier when I said casual fan at best earlier? And like I've gotten better, but we're also talking about prequels that I do not enjoy. So this one's definitely low on the list, but for obvious reasons that we've already been talking about, and we're not even halfway through the damn movie.
No, we aren't even 15 minutes into this film.
But I will say,
around a little bit in the first act. But
yeah, but I will say. Though I was just saying, like the first 10 minutes of the movie, we do get into the action really quickly. There's a ship explosion, which by all rights, because of the rest of the movie, probably should have been CGI, and it's not. It's a practical explosion. Like, wow, that's good for you, George, for doing that. And then we get some cool lightsaber stuff, just a tease of what we were going to get later on in the film. And I said, okay, cool. So you're starting it off with a bang.
I'll admit that initial scene where they shoot that one ship and like the pirates are like, "She's up!" I was like, "Oh wow, okay, we are getting into this like right away."
It was such fun.
It looked better in 1977.
Yeah.
Let's not into that. Let's stay with what the movie is.
Considering it turns into just this atrocious CGI fest later, then I mean, and
droidicas are what they are now.
I was just about to say that. I pulled it up.
There you go.
Just droidicas. I thought they were called something specific, but those were actually pretty cool.
Oh, destroyers.
Battle droid destroyers. Yeah, but those were actually pretty cool machines. I actually really liked that. Up until the point where they're like, this is a standoff, and then we see Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan like fast forward down a hallway. It was so bad because they're just like, "Pew!" and the battle droids are going,
They've gone up the ventilation shaft.
That was another one.
Poor choice of words, George.
But yeah, so they get off the ship and they land on Naboo, and of course we meet Jar Jar, which we kind of already talked about that scene. Then we obviously get Boss Nass. We get the whole ocean with the bigger fish stuff, which I didn't look bad. I thought that was for the most part fine. I actually think the Gungan world looked really nice.
Like Atlantis for the Gungans, like Gungan Atlantis. Actually, yeah, that part looked really cool, and I like the fact that this movie introduces us to more locations within the galaxy, because this is a galaxy far, far away, and yet in the original trilogy, we only get to see just a handful of different worlds.
We get Tatooine, we get Hoth, we get and Dagobah, and we get Endor.
Yeah, we get the outside of Alderaan before
Cloud City
to hell. Yeah, Bespin. But yeah, so just a small handful of stuff, and then
Bespin.
And don't start there. Don't go there. Don't go there.
Yeah, I agree.
It's nice. That's nice to see. It would have been nice to get a little bit more time with some of these other worlds, but you got to move the story along. And so far, the story was moving pretty quickly. At least it seemed like it was.
It did. I mean, maybe they could have taken 15 to 20 minutes of that fucking pod racer race out to establish more story or character.
The thing is about that. That's arguably the second best scene in the movie.
Yeah, but it also was incredibly long. It was incredibly long.
It is, but I'll be honest with you. When Anakin says, "No, this is," he says it later, but I mean, it's like, "No, this is pod racing." While I was watching pod racing, I go like, "This feels pretty Star Warsy." You know,
until you realize that
20 minutes of the actual film dedicated to one race.
Until you realize Sebulba is Dale Earnhardt.
Well, up until that point, I was like I told you when I first watched it, I went, okay, yeah, sure, this doesn't feel too much like Star Wars to me. But that scene in particular, I go, oh, well, you know what? Now it does. We got CGI Jabba. That's nice seeing old Jabba. We haven't seen him in a while.
We haven't seen CGI Jabba since the last time we popped in the special edition VHSs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did show up in that. But yeah, no. I mean, like the pirate scene, like I said, cool scene, just way too long. We could have gotten more Darth Maul. We could have gotten more of anything else.
I don't think we could have gotten more Darth Maul. I think we got just enough, if not a little bit too much Maul in this movie.
I don't agree with too much Maul, but I would agree with you. I think we got just enough. Because you don't, for this particular movie, you don't need to hear him talk a lot. It's fine. We need to
do some more badass shit. Because
I would have liked in this movie. I would have liked to have gotten a little bit more of not just Palpatine, but while he's being Darth Sidious, which we only get I think 2 scenes of him being Sidious.
Make it legal.
Or maybe 3. I mean,
if he's talking to the Viceroys and then when he's talking to Maul.
Yes,
I think the only 2 scenes we get.
Yeah, I would have personally had rather have seen him be a little bit more Sidious and less Palpatine. Which we don't get a ton of him as Palpatine, but we get just enough to let you know. By the way, this is a bad dude, but he's manipulating stuff. But that's just me.
I agree, because I mean it's one of those things where it's like for people who have never seen the originals, which unless it's children, all of us have seen the originals beforehand. As soon as Palpatine shows up, we know who Palpatine is.
Yes.
So it's like stop trying to play him like a normal character. We know who he is. It's not like Anakin where we know he's got to be built up to become Vader. We know Palpatine right away is Palpatine. So maybe a little bit more of the evil side than him trying to play good. It was not necessarily needed.
Right, but that's kind of the point, though. If you could look at it from a perspective of the original, the prequel trilogy is just as much his story as it is the rise and fall of Anakin.
I agree with that.
Because I mean, this is how, like, when we were introduced to Star Wars, we are introduced to the Galactic Empire, and how did that become? We are literally watching these 3 prequels that are the build of how did the Empire come to be. Well, it was this dude, it was this prick who was just like manipulating things, and he's manipulating kids. And then there was Jar Jar, and then the Jedis are a bunch of pricks in robes that think they know everything, and they didn't. They're too arrogant. That's one thing. Recently rewatching, because I did watch a good bit of it before this recording. The Jedi suck. They suck so hard. It's and I get I'm assuming that's the intention that Lucas was trying to prove that, like, hey, even though they're the good guys, no one is above being arrogant pricks, because especially when you achieve a certain status, if there's no one checking your power, then you're just going to get diluted with your own, delusions. And they certainly were, because they couldn't even fathom the idea that the Sith were rising up under their noses. So like, no, that's not possible. Like, well, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And Jay, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, buddy.
Well, you were raising your hand like you had something you wanted to say. So.
Well, no, I was like, since we're already off the rails, I think the better thing to do would have been introduce the threat of the Yuuzhan Vong, especially if we're gonna have manipulative Palpatine / Sidious. Sorry, I had to change the lighting situation in my room. It was starting to bug the shit out of me. So in Extended Universe, the Yuuzhan Vong are a race of creatures. It's the reason why Palpatine was building the Death Star in the first place. Without that, without a subplot, without a storyline, the fact that he wants to build this Death Star to keep the galaxy in line doesn't really add up to me, and we'll get to that later on. I think we got enough Palpatine in the movie. Like I said, a little bit more Maul, maybe a little bit less, actually, just because you give too much of a villain away, especially in like the first movie. It kind of ruins the mystique of the character.
But we only got Maul in the first movie. We didn't get Maul anywhere else. So that's where
Maul in Rogue One. Or I'm sorry, in Solo.
No, we got Maul in the Clone Wars franchise.
You got a hologram.
Yeah, that I don't count.
Hey, don't hate on Ray Park because he couldn't keep doing it, and don't hate on Peter Serafinowicz because he didn't want to do the voice anymore.
Oh, I'm not hating on any of them. Yeah, I was actually like, I love what I think we get just enough Maul because he's this looming threat, and then we get a nice little tease with him and Qui-Gon later that builds up into what I think personally is the best scene in the whole movie.
Yes, 100%. But I mean, my whole thing with more of Maul.
Here's the thing: there was so much that went on with Maul. Mm-hmm. They could have added in, they could have tacked on in any one of the subsequent films, because this is a storyline that is still happening at this point, regardless of whether or not at the end of this movie we think one thing. It's shown that he still is a threat and he is still in the background. Even if we're not talking all the tie-ins, he still does come back in between 3 and 4.
But not in the movies, though.
But not in the movies. Yeah, the only.
But what I'm saying is like they could not even just yes, primarily in the Clone Wars,
right?
But he does come back in Solo, and that happens between 3 and 4. So what they could have done is added, whether it's in post credits, whether it's in reshoots, they could have added a little bit of a story subplot and been like, he's still here. Instead, we get this villain who's kind of Snokish in a sense.
Yeah, but I mean, but they could have done that, sure, and it might have worked. But for this movie, he had to go out the way he had to go out, and we're not supposed to get an indication that he's coming back, because ultimately he wasn't the problem. He wasn't the threat. It was always going to be Darth Sidious / Palpatine, and I think that was the point. And so he
was the physical threat. He wasn't the.
He was more there to show that the Sith are still.
Yeah.
And
he's the proxy to what Palpatine's doing, and basically saying, hey, anyone's expendable in my eyes as Palpatine, because I'm still the looming threat that you still don't realize is happening.
Which feeds really well into that arrogance line.
It does. And I feel like that is the only part of these prequels. That through line is the only part that works. Like I said, you could look at it from the perspective as the prequel trilogies is his story. And even though it's technically Anakin's, it's like, well, it's as much Palpatine's as it is Anakin's. So yeah, in terms of, there's a lot of good to take away from this film. That stuff is good. We probably don't get enough of it. That's the problem, but we do get to see like I said, one of the best scenes in all of Star Wars, in my opinion, and definitely one of the best scores from John Williams with Duel of the Fates. So, I mean, I'll put that against anything else he's
I am not a
composed.
big scores and soundtracks guy, but even I know Duel of Fates.
I am, and I love it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like the casual fan, like, even less casual than I am, knows that piece and go, oh, that's from freaking Star Wars with Darth Maul and his double-sided lightsaber. Like, you're damn right it is.
The Star Wars franchise as a whole is one of the few movies that if you play any part of any of the orchestra, I'll go, that's from this scene. That's no. I'm talking about you play any Star Wars track, I will go, I know that's from this scene in this movie, because their score is so iconic with whatever it is.
Very much so.
Like, that is from Empire Strikes Back. That is from Jedi. That is from this. Like, it's, and Duel of the Fates is easily one of the best and most like now. I mean, I don't know if it's at iconic level yet, but it probably is. I mean, it's not the Darth Vader or Imperial March.
No, yeah, you're right.
Or anything like that. But in terms of the prequels, that song is the song of the prequels.
Yes.
But yeah, and I mean, we'll get more into the Darth Maul fight itself. But here's one thought. Captain Panaka.
Mm-hmm.
What were you guys' thoughts on him? I think he was a good character that they could really establish and used more, and they didn't do anything with this guy because I thought he was kind of a badass character that they just didn't utilize.
Could have been, but he's so forgettable that when you just said his name, I literally had to go, which one? Oh, yeah, him.
The main body. It was one of those characters is like this guy could have been something cool because he's like probably the one Naboo person outside of obviously Padme that seems to just be on top of their shit.
Yeah.
He's not getting outsmarted. He's not. Okay, who are you about to come at me with, Jay? You look up. Oh,
Palpatine.
I'm not counting Palpatine.
He's from Naboo.
I'm talking about the people that are actually on Naboo. Palpatine was like Coruscant for 90% of the film. I'm talking about the actual Naboo. Anyway,
semantics. That's what we call that.
Yeah, semantics. But I think Panaka, because going back and rewatching the episode or this recently, I was like, man, Panaka could have been much more than what he was. It's like they could have had him go onto Tatooine with them. You could have built his character up more because is he even in the rest of the series after that? Or is he only to episode 1? I can't remember him being in the others.
I don't believe he is, and maybe
I think they replace him when Corday gets blown up in Attack of the Clones.
Because it's a guy with the eye patch kind of thing.
Yeah.
At that
so
point.
that might answer your question right there. Is like ultimately he was just going to be irrelevant, which is you're probably right. It's a shame. He could have been something really cool, but there was no plans for that.
Just a potential missed opportunity in my eyes.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
I like this character. And they just didn't utilize him at all.
Right. Well, the prequels are full of missed opportunities.
Very, very true. You can't deny that at all. Did we get our full of Jar Jar? Or do we still want to talk Jar Jar? Or did we
I don't really have anything else to say about
we just.
Jar Jar.
I mean, hasn't everyone said enough about Jar Jar? There's just no. I can't defend it.
Talking about Jar Jar, this movie's been out for 20 years.
Yeah, it's like we got just.
It's still boggling my mind that it's been 20 years.
Next! 20 years, man. Yeah.
Shall we go to the one lingering big problem with this film?
There's one more big lingering problem. What's that? Anakin.
Fucking Anakin, little Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, little Anakin Skywalker. You want to talk about wooden dialogue and wooden acting? This isn't even wooden acting. This is just, kid, what movie are you in?
Because we've seen him in other films.
One other film, Jingle All the Way. The problem is he acts the same in that.
I mean, it wasn't nearly as bad. Maybe it's because the rest of the people in that film were actually acting, so it wasn't as noticeably bad.
I think United States Postal Service.
I think
it's a bomb.
It's a plastic explosive device. I think it's because Jake knew what movie he was in for that one, and when they told him, "Hey, you're going to be in Star Wars as young Darth Vader," I don't think he knew what that meant.
Star Wars.
Yeah, he's just like, yippee!
Is this pod racing?
Oh God, so many bad delivered lines.
And why
are you an angel?
Oh boy, there's that. And
I mean, give Anakin credit. He had game at night.
He shot his shot, bro. He shot his shot.
And it's okay. Well, so while we're there, how old is Padma supposed
14.
to be?
They're 5-year difference. or 5-year difference.
I thought she was supposed to be 16, but yeah,
She's 14 and he's 9. She's like 14 or 15. He's 9.
My entire question is why do you let a 15-year-old rule as queen of a planet?
Well, I mean, it's no different than if like her
Well,
king or queen and she was the rightful next one on the throne.
Well, I mean, the Chinese
She's
dynasties
elected.
did that for years. I mean, they did that for like centuries.
But here's the difference between that. She's a democratically elected queen. They voted her in.
Well, yeah.
But if she was also royalty in a sense, then I mean, they probably just voted her in because of who she was. Plus, I mean, she wasn't like a shitty leader, or
Right?
anything.
Yeah. I mean,
So
she
wasn't
showed
competent.
Yeah, she showed competence. She showed tenacity. So I mean,
My
maybe
issue
there's
is
something
you
there.
don't let a teenager run anything.
She was running it better.
Have you
than
ever
everyone
been a
else.
teenager?
Well, we also have to remember the biggest thing here: fantasy movie.
But
You
even,
know,
even
that's
even
the
with
thing. A lot of Star Wars fans forget about Star Wars. Fantasy movie.
Let's be honest, even at 14, 15 years old, whatever she is at the time,
Yeah.
she's running it pretty fucking well.
Exactly. And then look at Leia. Like when we get to Leia in a New Hope. I mean, she's how old is she supposed to be? She's
like 16, 18.
yeah, she's super young and she's like
Well,
commanding.
no, they're 19. They're 19.
They're
I
yeah,
think
but they're,
Luke
they're,
Okay.
all, they're all still under 20 years old.
Still though, I mean, like, but even
And she's doing pretty damn good job.
for 19, she's showing that she is a strong leader. She's basically a general then without the title of being general.
Exactly.
So I mean,
Shouldn't
so
have been a
it,
princess. I'm just saying. That's
yeah,
not
I'm
how
just saying
modern
it
people
runs
work.
in the. So I guess it runs in the family. I mean, that's it's easy to see why Padma would be who she is.
Anyway, back to shitty little Anakin Skywalker. Yes, he did shoot
boy.
his shot.
He shot his shot, and
It wasn't good, but at least he tried, and I can commend him for that.
He yelled Kobe when he released his shot, and then said, "Oh, Shaq" when he missed.
but my thing,
He still scored later, though.
and his eyes went cross. But my thing is, that was horrible. Why?
We love you, Diesel.
I mean, it's one thing. It's not even like fan service. It's shoehorning. Why did Anakin have to be the one? Like, we didn't need 3PO in this movie. We did not need 3PO. It was like Anakin created 3PO.
Did they ever see who finished him? Was it Lars? Like, who finished him?
I mean, all he needed was the outer shell.
Yeah, but I don't think me doing that.
No, it wasn't. It was clearly not Shmi. But
Yeah,
like,
But I mean, he
who
goes back
finished
back and he works on 3PO in episode 2.
3PO was already completed, wasn't he?
well, he already had it. He had his outer body. But I mean,
Yeah.
Anakin. I think, like I said, it's been a while since I've seen Attack of the Clones because it is horrible. But I mean,
I'm pretty positive that he already is pretty much
he does have an outer shell in that. Maybe Anakin does go back and do some tweaks or something. But whatever.
Because when he goes to Lars's place, 3PO's there, and he's already got the gold.
Yeah, my whole point is why we didn't need him. We did not need 3PO. And even if you want to throw him in this movie, it's why Anakin making him? Are we supposed to just assume like because this kid he's a prodigy and he's so good with machinery and he's gonna be like an incredible pilot and he's basically space Jesus, with the Immaculate Conception, which brings us to the next segment that I'm sure you're gonna get into. Midichlorians.
I was gonna get there, but
oh, I know. Well, we're there. We're there now.
We're there.
We're talking about space Jesus. Let's go right into it. Midichlorians. The Force. Oh, that's nothing. That's just little things in your bloodstream called midichlorians that apparently you can be really high in for no reason at all and shoot me to prevent me from watching this movie anymore because midichlorians. That's where we're going with this.
What I also love is that they never brought that shit up ever again.
Because it is stupid.
I know.
It doesn't make any sense. And it takes away the whole aspect of what the Force is supposed to be anyway. And
they completely went away with that as soon as that movie ended. It was like, yeah, we're not going
to mention that. It didn't happen.
Over 20,000. It's higher than Master Yoda's.
That is Lucas trying to put more of the psi in the phi when no, this series is fantasy.
Do you think here's the thing? Do you think he did that on his own? Do you think that was more of like them coming to him going, "You need to explain the Force better"?
I think that was him trying to shoehorn it in.
That's. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Like, he's like, I'm going to explain the Force, or is this like a studio thing going, George, can you explain the Force better since this is a prequel?
I am pretty quick to blame the studios for most bad things in movies. I'm pretty quick to do it, even if it's not really their fault. It's going to be there. I'm going to make it their fault. This is the one time I don't think they had anything to do with it. I think that is a Lucasism.
It's an all George situation.
Yeah, and he realized his mistake, just like he realized much too late the Jar Jar mistake, and that's why they were.
Didn't he realize that mistake because he used Jar Jar to start the whole fucking empire?
That guy's gonna be Fu Schnickens.
I mean, he literally used Jar Jar to put in the vote.
Jar Jar, for all intents and purposes, I think Jar Jar was supposed to be the prequel's version of Chewbacca, in that we've got this wild, crazy new alien that the kids are going to love, and the kids are like, we don't get it, and the adults are like, this is no, we don't love this at all, and then that George was like, nope, changed my mind, but he's still got to be there. So that's why...
He could have stayed in Gungan and just.
It's true. But I mean, yeah. So they throw him in there and they cut his dialogue to little to nothing, and just for continuity. For once, they're like, "Oh, now I'm worried about continuity. We got to have Jar Jar still be there because he's there, right?"
Well, we know he's stupid, so how about we let him be the reasoning that the Empire started?
Yeah.
But so Jay brought up a very good.
On Padme.
What's that?
So at that point, you can put that all on Padme.
Sure.
Oh, well, there was a new queen at that point when they put.
You can literally put that on Senator Padme Amidala. She's the one who made him. No, it doesn't matter. She's the one who made Jar Jar Binks a junior representative. She's the one who gave him that power. So if you want to blame anybody, and I'm not a fucking Jar Jar loyalist, but if you want to blame anybody, you can blame fucking Padme for it.
Or
get into that more in episode 2.
Or you can blame Sheev Palpatine for manipulating her into thinking it would be
Anakin to get her pregnant, so she had pregnancy brain.
No, but Jar Jar.
Well,
to the level he was.
Which is so. I mean, the whole aspect of the Force is, to bring people together, which is hilarious that the midichlorians thing even happened because
not a good enough use of the word penetrate.
now Jay did bring up a good point earlier before the show, and I told him to hold off on it. But since we're at the
go ahead.
Jay, go ahead with what your question was, because I mean this is the perfect time to bring it up. Is right now.
I mean, the movie's already been mentioned. But obviously, Jake Lloyd plays Schwarzenegger's son in Jingle All the Way.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think if Anakin Skywalker, little Annie Skywalker, are you an angel? Annie Skywalker got a Turbo Man doll, he would have been like, fuck off, Watto. I don't care if you're a toy daddy. And he would have just played with his toy. None of this would have happened. Fucking Qui-Gon Jinn would have died on Tatooine.
No, you know why? Because he had a toy. It was called C-3PO.
That is very true. That is very true. And they played ball. Let's not forget about that. He was a ball player.
They played ball.
Did
I say shoot me?
Can we go to the little kids? Because I'm sorry, his best friend, when he gives that snarky comment to Padme for no fucking reason, I would have slapped.
Oh, what does he say? What?
He goes, Annie, I hope you finish this time. And she's like, finish what? He's like, the race.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, why the
listen, you little shit. I don't know what you're talking about.
Slap you, fucker. Like, there was no.
You're probably an orphan.
There was no
clothes on your home.
You're adopted. Your parents don't even love you.
He's probably just jealous because Annie was giving all his free time to Padme and not him. Just like, you're this new best friend. I don't like you. But
well, I mean, yeah, because his best buddy. Yeah, Sean ships it. His best buddy is now enraptured with this lady when they should be focused on the important things to kids, like pod racing and playing ball. He's like, pay attention to pod race. You haven't even won a race, you stupid idiot. It's like, okay, I get it. You're being a dumb little kid.
Yeah, that little kid just delivered.
Kids are dumb unless you're Padme Amidala.
Apparently.
That's very true.
Unless the plot dictates it.
It's it.
But no, I thought your answer or your thing you asked was if they had never found Annie, you think Annie still would have gone dark? I thought that was what you asked.
No, I asked about the Turbo Man doll.
He went for the bit.
But I mean, that's a great what if though.
Yeah.
Like
for sure.
what if they landed somewhere else? What if they didn't land?
On
Moss yeah. Well, even if they landed during near a different spaceport, would it still have happened? Would he still technically be considered a manifestation of the Force? Would he have wandered the desert like a space Moses for 40 years?
Would he have still brought balance to the Force? Would he have still been Darth Vader or anything like that? I mean, that's a great thought process.
And I think the answer is yes. Because that is the way the Force dictated this was supposed to go. Again.
Balance.
Yeah. I mean, again, like
a way to bring her into focus.
Yeah, the idea is the Force is supposed to be this overwhelming force that binds all living things together in like the universe, which also makes the midichlorians thing just contradictory and fucking stupid. But I think his journey would have been very different, but I ultimately believe the Sith would have found him earlier. And
no. There are obviously good midichlorians, bad midichlorians, and midichlorians that just don't give a fuck. We can find out.
Who wants to take the over or under? Who wants to take the over or under that we get one midichlorian reference in episode 9?
None. We're getting none.
I say the Emperor drops one low key, and then he throws a mad amount of shade on it.
That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna do a predictions episode for episode 9. That's gonna be like our season finale of this.
Spoiler alert.
we will hold the episode 9 talk until, because that's gonna come out the Wednesday before the review.
But no, it's a good what if question. It really is. But I wholeheartedly believe, just because the way this world has been set up, that eventually he would have become Darth Vader. It would have been very, very different. But and he actually might have turned out way worse. And he wouldn't have brought balance to the Force, maybe. Or maybe he would have incidentally, because of the whole rule of 2. And he's like, I don't need Sheev Palpatine anymore. But
I'll just make a Star Killer.
Yeah. Maybe Luke's journey turns out way different if that's the case. Maybe he does.
What if his bitch ass went to Tashi Station and picked up some power converters?
I mean, he probably still would have shown back up at the house and been killed.
Yeah. The Force would have still manipulated his fate. I mean, ultimately, his destiny was going to be what it was. It just would have been tweet.
Now, since we're at that kind of part of the film, let's go ahead, Jay. Bring up your favorite character, Watto.
Again?
No, because he said we're gonna get to it, so we're at it.
Credits.
I mean, yeah, with Watto.
Look, okay, so I'm not gonna lie. The Cato Nemoidians, the viceroy of the Trade Federation, not a good look. 100%, just straight up not a good look. You gave them like this imperial, regal, almost Japanese sort of look to it, and you gave them a really fucked up accent, George. Then you give us a guy who wears a small hat on his head, has wings, a big nose, curly hair on the side, and the 5 o'clock shadow. And then you make him concerned about Republic credits. No. No.
That's gonna be a no.
I'm not even the Jewish one here, and I am the most offended by this. This is literally the most fucked up caricature in this entire movie.
It is bad. Bad doesn't cut it.
It's not good.
They give him more lines, or he gets more screen time than Darth Maul, I feel.
But I feel
he does.
But look, here's the problem, and we have to mention it, even though it's a different movie, but we have to mention it. Is the fact that this is what makes episode 2 that much worse, is because they bring him back. They bring Watto back. It's like of all the things, you could have done, it brought back fucking Watto. Oh, but I'm just it's one just wasn't enough, I guess.
No, apparently.
I really think George
favorite. They needed more Watto.
I think George just thought, it was like, well, I've got a Jabba already. Maybe I could get like another Jabba that's a little.
Isn't
a little
Watto,
more racist?
Isn't Watto's species also in the Clone Wars series? At least one episode.
Yeah.
Well, they're in the very first episode.
Is it the very first one?
Yeah, he makes Yoda makes a bet with the King of Toydaria while they're on Toydaria. We'll get into that.
Does he still talk? Do they still talk like that?
No,
That's
not at all.
Like, do they still talk like that in the cartoon?
No, they knew better than that.
No, there's just one.
Do we have anything else to say really about the pod racing scene?
I think the pod racing scene is actually really well done. The more I think about it, you might be right. It might go on just a little bit too long.
Yeah. I'm not saying that it was done wrong. It looks great. Yeah. It looks great. It's just it went way too long. Just way too long.
It definitely it's a good way to demonstrate that Anakin does have the capability of being an incredible pilot that he does later become. It's nice to see that.
They do a little bit of a better job with it when he's in the Naboo Starfighter.
That's true. They do that, but I mean, they had to set up the fact that this kid can do it. He has the capability of doing something.
So they can put him in a T-13.
I mean, he's been a pilot all his life.
All 8 years of his life. Like, shut
up.
Cool.
That's cool. You're a pilot, bro. What races have you finished?
None, apparently.
None, except for the one in this movie, because plot.
Yes, the plot needs him to.
Plot armor.
Yeah. And
so he wins the race. Obviously, he leaves with Qui-Gon. He says bye to Shmi.
No races for two slaves.
Who still, as a mother, sheds no tear for losing her son.
Go and don't look back.
It's like I guess putting yourself in that position. I don't know how are you supposed to feel? It's like
happy.
Well, I mean, like this kid comes out of nowhere. You're pregnant for no reason. You give birth and you realize that he's probably. You're also you're a slave. You just birthed a kid and birthed it into slavery. That's the only thing it knows. And now he's got the opportunity to not only get out, but train with the Jedi Knights, who at the time were supposed to be like the biggest thing.
They're basically gods.
So I mean, I would assume, I'm not a parent, but I would assume, I need my kid to get out of here because
but you need to still at least show some freaking emotion when he's leaving. It's like it's no different than like a parent sending a kid off to college. They're still super emotional about it.
Sure. I get what you're saying, true, but it's like maybe Shmi's. Well, obviously, the moment we're introduced to her, she's just kind of clay-faced, and there's just nothing there.
That's the whole damn time.
We'll chalk it up to just years of slavery. Has made her just a cold bitch. I don't know.
Which we never see her do any slave work. We just see her be a mom. So we never see her do anything that's slave-like.
Maybe we don't want to know.
Yeah, it's very true.
What she's there for.
Yikes!
I'm just saying. Because Watto's kind of always around.
Hey, I'm the Professor Oak of the Star Wars universe. Andy, come drive this in a pod race. I'll watch your mother.
It's so horrible how good you are at that accent, and it's like it's disturbing. It's gonna be a yikes for me, dog. But you get what I'm saying. So.
I totally get what you're saying, Mark. I mean, so they say goodbye to Shmi. We don't see her again until the next film for like a minute.
Yeah,
we'll get to that scene in the next episode.
Yeah, we will.
And then we get the first glimpse of Darth Maul like fighting.
Mm-hmm. Which is a great tease.
That's another thing too. what if Qui-Gon did not see Darth Maul coming, and Darth Maul just decapitates Anakin with the speeder?
He was so close too. I know that's what's so like. And Anakin, like, it's not like when he says Anakin down, like Anakin drops like quicker, like super quick. He does.
What,
he just kind of goes
Qui-Gon?
And then
like, just imagine if Darth Maul had hit him. End of frame. Like, oh,
all Darth Maul had to do was throw the damn lightsaber. It's just like, just throw it, make it spin, and like Anakin's done. He's dead.
Exactly.
That won't be canon for another 6 movies.
True.
Yeah.
That's in the Elseworlds tale. It's like, what if Anakin died on the way? And Qui-Gon's like,
gang
no!
kills Anakin.
What if Qui-Gon was not paying attention and Darth Maul just bashed Anakin in the back of the
Was
head?
it chosen? And then Qui-Gon
didn't even throw his lightsaber, just fucking cracked him in the back of the melon with his speeder.
Maul's like, I hate kids.
He had such a bright future.
And then Qui-Gon just goes on like this.
He's wearing the helmet because he got hit in the back of the head.
And then
Qui-Gon's on this
Hawk
berserker rage tour like the whole time, and he goes after Maul, and then he's just like
he goes full on dark side.
He goes full on dark side for the greater good.
And Dooku start becoming like the 2 main Sith Lords. That's a whole different version of this movie that I actually would love.
Yeah, imagine that. The new rule of 2. It's like it's dark Qui-Gon, and then Count Dooku follows suit.
Qui-Gon gets on his little talker. Maul.
So it's Taken in the Star Wars universe.
So yes, imagine Taken, but in Star Wars. That's what we want to see.
Imagine Taken with lightsabers,
with laser swords.
With laser swords.
That's the movie I want.
What if I killed a Jedi and took this laser sword?
I also loved the line right before they went, or when Qui-Gon went back to the ship. And Obi-Wan goes, I feel like we're about to pick up another pathetic life form.
He does, yeah, no, like Obi-Wan.
Who's a dick, dude?
Yes.
But that's kind of interesting because every time we see a Padawan, Padawans are kind of pricks. When Luke, when he's the Padawan, yeah, they don't call him a Padawan, but when he's training, under both Obi-Wan and Yoda, he's a prick. You mentioned it, like he's kind of a bitch. When Anakin in the next movie is still a Padawan, he is a complete bitch.
I mean, I think I chalk that up to like puberty being a teenager, but still, but yes, he is. And then but he goes pathetic life form. I'm like, bro, that's gonna be like your brother.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, again, I mentioned earlier, like Obi-Wan's trying to model his training after the ways of how the Council is doing things because he feels like that's the way to be. So yeah, he probably feels like, no, we shouldn't be picking up pathetic life forms because we're above that and we don't need to do it. It's not the Jedi way.
One thought process I had going into it about Obi-Wan being the way he is maybe this is his first actual mission.
Probably.
Because it's not like the Clone Wars where Anakin got all this extra training because of all the shit happening. It's like maybe to Obi-Wan, this is his first time actually going out and doing stuff. And so he's just real over excited. Maybe that's why he was smiling.
That would explain his smirk. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's why Obi-Wan's the way he is in this film because he's kind of a snarky guy.
I think they explained it in the novelization of the film. It is
his first.
Yeah,
it's one of like his very first assignments.
Yeah,
he's like literally just been like, oh, this is Qui-Gon Jinn, Jedi Knight. He will be your master. You will be his Padawan. Like this is like a very new thing to him, even though he's been a Padawan learner for fucking as long as he's been a Padawan
under Yoda.
He finally graduated to Qui-Gon.
Training under Yoda, no less. And he's got both conflicting things about following Qui-Gon and then following
different
what Yoda's following. Yeah, completely different.
Because even when Anakin gets on the ship the first time and Anakin's like, so what are we going to do? He looks at him like, bitch, who the fuck are you?
Well, even when Qui-Gon says like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and they meet and Obi-Wan's just kind of like, yeah, okay.
Okay, cool.
You look like a bitch.
It's like you're a damn...
You go to Tashi Station to grab some power converters?
Qui-Gon's my dad.
Either that look he gives him is a character choice or that's Ewan McGregor going, oh boy, this kid.
I love
somebody give him a Turbo Man.
Going back to Jake Lloyd, that one line in when they're on the ship and he's like cold and he's sitting there, he's like, it's so cold, and Padme's like covering him with a blanket. She's like, I care about you, Annie. I care about you too, but your mother. Cutscene. It's like,
yikes! Not needed. Not needed.
I'm like that. You don't just end the scene like that. Like, you need to finish it up properly. That's just a weird.
Please finish that up.
So what you did was you just established a very big Oedipal complex with this character.
Because you basically have Padme as a teenager going, I care about you quite a lot, Annie. And then a 10-year-old going, I care about you too, but... And then she just goes, you miss your mother.
Your mother.
Like, wait, are you down to clown right now with a 9-year-old?
And let's not forget, Padme's like, I think the only other female in Anakin's life, like,
Pretty
at
much
all.
outside of his mother, yeah.
Outside of his mom. So yeah, so it just...
I mean, no, there was that one friend. She had braces and shit, which what?
Okay. Well,
that part of the galaxy, but yeah.
Let's say older lady.
Actual attractive women.
So yeah, and also she's, he finds out she's a princess, and so yeah, there's probably a little bit of the Oedipus thing going on. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just weird. Like,
there's a very big
that, and just like
set up right there.
But yeah, so we get the Coruscant. We got the whole like split off. They're gonna like, oh, Jedi Council, and then Palpatine and politics shit that none of us really actually cared about. But
some people do. Some people actually really, really like the politics shit. There's just too many table meetings. There's too many table meetings in these prequels.
Jaden Pryor is killing me right now.
You know what all of these movies with the laser sword fights need?
Meetings.
Politics.
And politics.
About trading.
Politics.
About trading.
What if we make the racist characters
You know who the real villain was before the Empire? Trade federations.
Yeah.
with Chinese-looking viceroy.
Oh, yikes.
Send them through the cuffs
and everything. But no, so in all honesty, though, as much as we shit on this movie, it did give us one of the best like quotes in Star Wars history, which is when Yoda is talking to Anakin, and you get the fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to the dark side. Because that line, I mean, how many times have we quoted that line throughout the years?
Sure.
I mean, that's one of the best lines in Star Wars. Like I said, there's some great things. We get one of the best lightsaber scenes. We get one of the best scores. We get one of the best quotes.
Yeah.
Out of this franchise, but
yeah, racing. That's what you meant, right?
Nah, fuck you. Not the yippee! I'm not a slave. My name is Anakin.
Okay. Slave number 3. It's Anakin. It's slave number 3. Laser.
We didn't give you that name, Anakin.
Little Annie. But no. So I mean, did you guys have anything about the first interaction with little Annie and the Jedi Council?
Yeah, Mos Eisley Spaceport didn't land on him. He landed on Mos Eisley Spaceport.
Well, once again, the Jedi Council are a bunch of dicks, and especially Mace Windu, old Sam Jackson, man. He's just like, no, not gonna train him. Not gonna happen. Too old.
You think I'm a bitch?
Old.
I got a purple lightsaber.
Like, George,
says, bad motherfucker on it.
I demand my lightsaber be purple. Well, we already have purples. Well, that's what I want. It's just like,
if you don't get it, I'm gonna bitch slap you till you do.
And that's my bad motherfucker.
But he died.
And then he's the first one to get the purple lightsaber. Why? Because he's Sam Jackson. Okay.
And then they had to explain. Now we have to explain why lightsabers are different colors. It's like, Jesus Christ, who cares?
But then you added yellow, which who wants a fucking yellow lightsaber?
It used to be. Well, Luke had a green one. Why is that? Who cares? It's awesome. Like,
because
we have to explain
he upgraded to master.
He upgraded, yeah.
That's why.
Why did Obi-Wan have a blue one?
Because he's old.
Because
and left.
Why did Darth Vader have a red one? Because he's a bad guy.
Which I will say, the explanations as to why the kyber crystals change colors, especially for the Sith, why it goes red, because of their emotional spectrum. I'm like, piss off with that shit.
So the midichlorian counts shifted to negative midichlorian counts.
So fucking stupid.
Renegade for life.
Yes.
That's why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, Anakin passes all the tests, obviously. They say no, which Qui-Gon's like, fuck you, bitches. I'm training them anyway.
Yeah. And they have no qualms with it. Like,
will never be a Jedi Master.
Yeah, that's why. And he
never stood on the council.
He said, I'm cool with it because I don't like what you guys are doing. And that's the ultimate tragedy of this movie.
Hold on. Before you finish that thought.
Okay.
I believe what you meant to say was Qui-Gon Jinn had a particular set of skills.
Uh-huh. Yes, he did.
Are you gonna
Jedi? You don't know the rest of the quote, do you?
No, I know the rest of the quote. The rest of the quote just doesn't make sense in context.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah. All right. So, Mark, finish your.
All I was gonna say is the greatest tragedy. Yeah, he did have a particular set of skills. It was called being a badass Jedi, and the ultimate crime, tragedy, is the fact that we didn't get. I know it seems like we didn't get enough Qui-Gon. We should have gotten more Qui-Gon in the series. I understand why he had to die in this movie, but still,
No, sorry, I know.
I wanted more. I wanted more Qui-Gon.
No, I wanted to build on what you're saying because there's a point coming up in, I want to say it's actually Revenge of the Sith, where Yoda sends Obi-Wan to Tatooine to speak with an old friend.
Yet we didn't even get that shit in Rebels either. Maybe we'll get that in the TV show.
We got it.
Well,
we got
a little
Force
bit.
We got Force Ghost Qui-Gon in Clone Wars, the show.
And they did bring Liam Neeson's back.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
but I'm saying, but there you go. That's what I'm saying. We should have gotten him as Force Ghost in the other two prequels.
Yeah,
I think that would have been really good. Because Obi-Wan goes through some struggles in the movies as well, and I think having Qui-Gon there to talk to him, to help him, be like, hey man, just keep an eye on Anakin.
Maybe
at that point though, they didn't know the Force Ghost thing was a thing until the end of Revenge of the Sith. Because Yoda was like,
that's true.
Hold on, that's not necessarily true. That's just the first time that Yoda brings it up. But at the exact same point in time, maybe this is one of the reasons why in The Last Jedi you have Yoda saying, they are what they grow beyond, and this is the first step towards that. Maybe Obi-Wan had to go through it without somebody so he could watch it happen and then be that somebody that it needed to happen for, and
that's
pass
a fair
that
point.
on to Luke.
Learn from your mistakes to become stronger.
But again, I say we got to see Force Ghost Qui-Gon in the Clone Wars, which happens before Episode 3.
Yeah, right when I said that, I was like, oh wait.
Yeah, so I mean, it's like it's in the in between.
Yeah.
But
so
I think
too,
technically. So let's not ask for too much.
That's just me as a biased fan. Then that's it. I really enjoy Qui-Gon. I think
it's like where I wanted more Darth Maul, you wanted more Liam Neeson because Liam Neeson, yo. But yeah, it's like it's one of those things.
My shit.
My shit.
Which I think does bring us pretty much to the Duel of the Fates.
We're back on Naboo. We got the Gungans basically setting up a blue-purple ball fight, basically.
Which is just like that's the aforementioned CGI dunk fest.
How shitty battle droids are?
They're pretty shitty. That does not compute. Wait, you're under arrest. That's a funny line.
That doesn't compute.
Wait a minute. You're under arrest. That's a funny line. I do like that line.
I hate the battle droids so much. That's what made the first season of Clone Wars so unbearable. Was the battle droids?
Battle droids.
It's because they were so bad. Because I mean, in hindsight, Phantom Menace felt like it was made for children.
It was made for children.
And so was season 1 of Clone Wars, just like season 1 of Rebels was. And
technically, all of Star Wars is made for kids.
But halfway, I know. But let's be honest, it's not. But like halfway to 3/4 through season 1 of Clone Wars, it's like they realized the Star Wars fans are watching this, not the children.
Right.
Let's make this shit dark.
Because there's too much of existentialism to grasp for kids that are happening, you know.
And the turning point in Clone Wars, I think it was like when someone got decapitated in season 1. I was like, oh shit, they went there. And then as soon as that happened, the show went dark, and it was beautiful.
Oh yeah. I was wondering what you were doing over there, Jay.
I knew exactly what he was doing. But yeah, then of course, like I said, the battle droids are just like the worst things ever. They're awful.
Maybe the whole purpose of putting them in these prequels was to show you, like, here's the reason why we don't have them here, like, later, because they're stupid.
Why we switched over to clones? Because battle droids are incompetent. Yeah.
Just kick them over. You just want like
Obama with a George Lucas voice. That sounded like.
The reason why we switched to battle droids, or I'm sorry, clones.
Obama doing George Lucas.
Yeah, that's basically what you sounded like right there, Jay. But yeah, so we have. I mean that whole battle it's not anything to really.
It's a mess, but it does intercut
more Jar Jar comedy antics in it.
I actually really liked that battle scene.
It's fine, but it's just like when it's going on, you're like, can we get back to Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and Maul, please?
Well, no. So, but here's the thing: we've always got one of those like tertiary battle scenes in a movie.
It's true.
Especially like a Star Wars movie. We always have something like this. You always have the small. You always have the smaller battle going on and the larger battle in the background.
Except for New Hope.
I mean, fair enough. I mean,
actually, and Empire. Return of the Jedi did it because you had the Ewok battle and then you had the Death Star battle.
That's true. Yeah. But even in Last Jedi, there's a little bit of that going on. Even though it's technically one big battle, they're just different, from different perspectives.
Yeah, it happens in The Force Awakens too.
It definitely happens in Force Awakens.
Yeah, it definitely happens in Force Awakens,
and it's going to happen a lot in the new one. So
I'm sure it will. There'll probably be like 3 separate battles going on in that one, which I'm totally okay with as long as it fucking makes sense and looks good. But yeah, so let's go ahead and. Jay, you can go ahead and cue the music back up if you want. Let's hope we don't get monetized for it.
Is it too loud? Too low?
No, that's cool.
It's just clippy to start. But Duel of the Fates. Obviously, one of the best lightsaber battles in the whole Star Wars franchise. The the 2-on-1 handicap match.
Yeah, which we had never seen that before. Not even an inkling of that.
Even before that, all we ever got was Obi-Wan and Vader, which was just 2 guys just going.
Luke and Vader.
And then Luke and Vader kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
This time we got fucking acrobatics. We got people getting kicked off of fucking bridges.
We also didn't have to worry about rotoscoping at this point in time.
Worry about what?
Rotoscoping.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, this fight was fucking awesome. I mean, all of us collectively at our ages when we saw this, did all of us not shit ourselves when Darth Maul goes? She's just like, holy shit.
Well, actually, I didn't because the trailers put that moment is in every single trailer for that movie.
You know what? I will tell you this. As an 8-year-old, I didn't give a fuck about trailers. I don't remember watching a single trailer for this movie before it came out.
I didn't care about trailers until I
was like 18.
Well, I just remember it was all over TV because I mean they promoted the shit out of this movie because it's another Star Wars, and that was really my only inkling that, oh wow, we're getting another Star Wars movie. Cool. Okay.
I knew it was
the last Star Wars film.
I knew it because of the poster.
With right, yeah, there was a poster.
Anakin walking by the Tatooine building.
Yeah, with Vader shadow. Yeah, fair enough.
But
but that's the frame that always stuck out was in the trailer was like Maul igniting the lightsaber and then the other end goes off and like, whoa, double.
That was Maul basically going big dicking.
Come get, yeah.
Come get some.
He said double bladed lightsaber # big dick energy.
Yes, that was him going.
And he does, and they bring it, and he brings it, and just shows you like, yeah, this is not one to be trifled with.
Yeah, he dominates Obi-Wan like a little bitch for like 3/4.
Yeah, and he straight up murders the Jedi Master in the story.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I would even say, go ahead, Jay.
Can we talk about the darkest portion of this? You can see Obi-Wan give in to the anger.
That's literally what I was just about to say.
You can see him give in to the anger when he does the.
If Qui-Gon did not die, Obi-Wan would have died.
Yeah.
Him giving into the anger of the dark side is the reason he defeated Darth Maul.
It's true, and it would not be the first time that he does it. He has done it. He does it in the fight against Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. We'll get to that, at another time. But I mean, it happens. Yeah, I mean, I think that ultimately that's how he wins.
Yeah.
Well, that and Anakin just being stupid.
The force that Obi-Wan sits on, he's a very big fucking hypocrite when it comes.
High ground. Yeah, it's true. But this is where I think the fact that he's got both sides of training from Qui-Gon and Yoda comes in handy, because while he lets that anger rise and utilize it to his advantage, he's able to counter that with, now we're bringing it down. Now we're calming down. We're bringing it nice and calm, because this is what Yoda taught you how to do. And he's better at controlling the emotions, I think. Obviously better than some, like Anakin.
So here's the extended universe look into it. He was a master of 2 lightsaber forms, and one of those lightsaber forms really kind of depended on you kind of maybe just a little bit giving into the anger, let it flow through you.
Well, that's what that's kind of what brought about, I think, the aspect of the Dark Jedi, which are you can call that whatever you want, but
Jades. No,
let's be honest. Luke, even in hindsight, was not a full-on. I mean, he teetered both sides that whole time.
Well, yeah. In EU canon, he doesn't just flirt with it.
He's basically a gray Jedi. He's a gray.
No, that's just it. In EU, he goes straight.
In EU, he does straight go dark for a little bit, and then he comes back from it. But which is
as well.
Yeah, which in the those extended universes is not uncommon. Freaking Darth Revan, that he does it.
Yoder.
Yeah. So. Yes, so it's not a shocker to see that in order to beat Darth Maul, who just beat Qui-Gon Jinn, who's supposed to be one of the best of the best in the
even the thing too is, how did he beat Qui-Gon? Because he fucking did a dirty move and punched him in the face with the that was the one thing too that we saw. Is you got more acrobatic lightsaber fight. You got more acrobatic.
The Brack's got no rules, man.
Yeah, we got some martial arts kicking. We got some martial arts fighting in the fight as well. And then how does he do it? He butts him in the nose with the base of the saber and then stabs him. I'm glad that he went dirty, because he's a Sith.
Yeah, he's a Sith. He's been trained literally his whole life to be a Sith, because the Bracks are so in tune with the Force, and Palpatine chose him specifically. That one. I'm gonna make him my super bitch.
Yeah, because it was him and his brother.
Yes.
Who eventually met.
The Vajopress.
That dude.
Yeah.
So here's my thing, though. There are multiple times where you see Qui-Gon enter into a meditative state during this.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally entering in that, I want to say, that almost Sherlock mind state that Guy Ritchie did in the 2 Sherlock Holmes movies, where he's playing.
Yeah, there's a name for that.
The bad directing, school of bad directing.
That's just Guy Ritchie.
I love that movie. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm just not a fan of Guy Ritchie.
Okay.
I like the scenes.
No, I mean Sherlock's that state. There's a name Sherlock has for it. I can't remember what it is, but anyway.
Search your mind palace for it, and you might find it.
That's probably it.
But that's the thing, though, is he's literally sitting there and he's adjusting his attack patterns. Mm-hmm. He's adjusting the way him and Obi-Wan attack him. Every time he goes into that meditative state, his attack pattern changes. So he's literally sitting there and he's playing mental chess. He's trying to play the entire scene out in front of him.
Yep.
And you can see there's a certain point when they both enter into the pinkish purple,
Like
those little those like shields. Yeah.
the hallway. And he goes into his final meditative state. His face changes at one point in time. And like I said, I could definitely be looking way too much into this, but it seems like he's resigned at that point in time because he knows what's about to happen.
He knows Obi-Wan's not going to be able to make it past the last shield before it closes again.
And then he's like, okay, I can do this, and I can be used as an example. And I think Obi-Wan carries that with him, and when we get into episode 4, we can talk about that.
Sure.
But I think there's a little bit more of a cerebral game going on there between all three of them, if not at least Obi-Wan, or at least Qui-Gon and Maul.
I don't think Obi-Wan's thinking anything at that point because he's too new to think like that.
Yeah, I think
he's just going off of adrenaline.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That you might even say while Maul is stalking and waiting for the shields to open back up while Qui-Gon's meditating, you could say they are having like maybe both of their minds are linked in that moment, and they're seriously like, if you do that move, I'm gonna do this. Yeah, and it's like, and if you do this, I'm gonna do that. And it's like, okay, well, we'll see where we go here.
Which is why, what does he have to do to beat him? He has to do a dirty pull.
Yep.
Right, by doing something that is not part of technically the fighting style, and that's how he gets that brief moment to hit Qui-Gon. And I even love the moment too when Qui-Gon's meditating and Darth Maul's testing the shield. Like, can I really not get it?
He's like, all right, yeah.
Right now with his eyes closed, I don't care. He's just like, cool, damn it.
It's just like, you keep playing mental battle. Let me just get in there real quick. Like, shit, I can't.
But yeah.
And then when he kills him and then stalks Obi-Wan, it's just kind of like, what are you gonna do?
And that's also his downfall as well, because once he gets Obi-Wan hanging, he's just playing with his food at that point because he thinks
that's literally what it. Yeah, that's absolutely.
Like, your lightsaber's gone. You're not going to be able to beat me now. I'm just gonna. I have all day.
I think the only thing that would have made that entire ending scene better would have been right before Obi-Wan jumped. He said, "You know what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning?"
God damn it, Jay.
No, he should have said, "You're about to be mauled."
Prior to that scene, so that would have made no fucking sense.
You're about to get mauled, boy.
You're about to get mauled, boy.
But yeah,
slap. No.
And I love that. Like, he just gets that face like when he gets sliced. Like what?
You murdered me. No.
No.
The cutscene we don't see is just like no. And he just puts himself back together.
I would have loved to see that be like a post-credit scene where it's like almost like Deadpool and X-Men Wolverine Origin.
Yeah,
he's
like,
literally got a big ass staple gun and he's just stapling his lower half.
I mean, like, how else do you explain it? Just like his eyes just open up, like no.
I am inevitable.
I mean, and to his credit, he survived a few more years until he finally found Obi-Wan again when he's an old.
Died again.
And he died again in a very epic fashion.
Beautiful scene.
Oh, it's beautiful. Total samurai. It's so cool.
Beautiful scene. I love that scene so much. Anyone who is
especially when they hit that wide shot after both blades have slashed.
Yep.
Bro.
Yeah. For anyone watching this who has not seen Star Wars Rebels, go out of your way to find Darth
Alert.
Yeah, because it is a beautiful work of art. Yeah.
To quote Doctor Strange, maybe we should put the spoiler warning at the beginning of the book.
Well, I mean, that's funny. We knew this was going to be spoiler anyway. So, yeah.
No, I was talking for Rebels.
Oh, gotcha.
But and then we get intercut with that fight. We get to see what else is going on. We get to see Anakin get up in a what's he in a speeder or he's in a
fighter jet thingy.
One of those. And guess what? While he's in there, guess who he gets to meet? R2-D2, the real hero.
R2 was on the ship when he was in Tatooine anyway. Like he met R2.
True. Okay, fair enough. But still, like it's
R2.
We get to see R2 doing his thing, like as I guess the pseudo co-pilot, which he becomes very notable about being.
Which R2 saves everyone's lives also when they're trying to leave the booth.
He's the true hero of the story.
Yeah, he is.
You know who you can thank for that? Everybody's least favorite character in the movie, Jar Jar Binks. Had Jar Jar not interrupted his fucking march to the hyperlift to go to the outside of the spaceship, he would have been blown away. He would have been side by side with that other R2 unit, that other astromech unit.
Don't give Jar Jar meaning.
Look, I'm just saying.
Don't
He literally got caught up for 4 seconds, and that saved his life. That's plot armor right there.
I didn't realize you were such a George Lucas shill, Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you not see Wu-Tang?
Don't give Jar Jar any benefit of the doubt with my number one favorite character,
Wu-Tang. I don't give a fuck about Disney, but they do sign my check.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, I mean, you have that whole thing where he's like, "I'm gonna do a barrel roll." He just does a freaking.
Now this is pod racing.
Whoa!
I have my Turbo Mando.
Yeah, and then his after he destroys the ship. Little kid.
Oh, they can give a little kid a medal, but they can't give a Wookiee a medal. Okay,
that's fucked up, man.
Yeah,
justice for Chewie.
I agree. Chewie gets shortchanged heavily.
Hey, at least to his credit, Chewie's still kicking.
Yes,
so, everyone else is dying all around him, and it's like, well, Chewbacca's still there,
killing people with that crossbow gun that everyone falls in love with.
He's still ripping off arms and eating porgs, so he's doing his thing.
Yes. After that, but just go back to literally to the Darth Maul thing again. And like I said, this continues with Rebels. I love that Darth Maul's whole meaning after that is to hunt down Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
I love that ends up being Maul's character arc throughout the whole franchise. Like, yes, he does other things, but his end goal is to find Obi-Wan.
It's to find Obi-Wan because Obi-Wan took away his purpose. He was Darth Sidious's apprentice. He was going to be the master, and Sidious just like, well, you died, so to hell with you.
You're not.
Can you say that Obi-Wan might have helped bring balance to the Force?
Obi-Wan tried. The problem was, again, Maul was expendable. He was always expendable.
He also had Dooku just waiting in the.
So was Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, Dooku just needed the extra push to go bad, and with the death of Qui-Gon, he's like, okay, cool.
Yeah, Dooku was just kind of waiting.
That's where Rebels kind of muddies the water.
Yeah,
that's really kind of where the
or
water.
Clone
the
Wars
water
does.
I was like, how does Rebels mess with that?
Well, because you have and I meant Clone Wars, but you have Dooku.
Oh yeah, he made Clone Wars and fine. I was like, how does Rebels mess with it?
You have Dooku who recruits Darth Maul, and then Darth Maul recruits Savage.
Yeah,
which creates.
No, I wasn't saying. I knew Dooku
I'm just saying.
I said Dooku. Like that's why Maul was expendable because Dooku was there the entire time, just waiting in the wings with Sidious.
Which would make the fact that if there's only ever two, that means that it wasn't Sidious who recruited Maul.
He brought him up to become like a Sith Lord, but he still had to earn the apprenticeship status. Yeah, he still had to earn it.
Yeah, honestly, I always thought the Rule of Two thing was bullshit because come on, because if you even go to Old Republic, there was thousands of Jedi.
Well, that's before Darth Bane started the Rule of Two.
Yeah.
Even Darth then, how many Jedi were there?
1,000 years ago.
I'm talking about even right then and there. How many Jedi are there? So why would there have to be less than 2 Sith Lords at that?
Because
that's explained in the extended universe.
Yeah, it's explained that in the Bane novels why he comes up with it because there was too many. The Siths are all about their own power and their own escalation, and when they thought they could all band together, it's like, no, you're all just canceling each other out because you can't agree on anything. And Bane's like, that's why there should only be two, like one to have the power and one to covet it.
This is why you can't have a Toydarian Sith Lord.
So basically what you're saying is the Sith are like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. They're all just a bunch of little Sith waiting in the wings for one to die. And then
They're more like Highlanders.
They're more like Highlanders, only in the sense of there can be only two. Yeah, so I mean that's the point. If you're strong enough in the Force to take me, your master, out, then I deserve to die. So come at me.
Okay.
And that's why Sidious was like looking for such a powerful Sith to take his mantle, because one, I don't think he believed anyone could do it, but if they could, then there's no chance that the Sith would be going down.
Which could also be the reason why he waited as long as he did to turn Anakin. He waited for Dooku to die before he started to go, okay, now I'm going full blown and to get an Anakin.
Yeah, well, and that's why Palpatine used Anakin, like kept like twisting and like warping his mind. He's like, if I can turn him, since they have such promise in this kid, then hell, I've secured my legacy, as it were.
Which
in a way, kind of
forcing him to kill Dooku the way he did was his final.
Yeah,
if I can get him to do this, then I know I can get him. If he doesn't do it, which is why he also tried to get him to leave Obi-Wan, which I know we're jumping to Revenge of the Sith, which we need to wait on that. But yes,
it's true. But I mean, yeah, it's like it's all, master. Say what you want about him, but master manipulator. That's what makes him such a awesome villain.
Exactly.
So he is the Phantom Menace, and the Phantom Menace does not die. It still survives. It's they were fighting the wrong enemy.
Well, that's because at that time, no one. I mean, we all knew, but at that time, no one knows what Palpatine's doing.
No,
he is a Phantom. And
even at the end with Yoda and the Jedi Council, they realize that the Sith is in fact rising up, even though they ignored it earlier. And it's like, okay, well, we just got to be more careful now. Like, you dumb idiots. Because it's
still their ego. They're just like, oh, we have.
It is. It's very, very much ego driven. They like I said, the irony is they fight against arrogance, and they are arrogant themselves because they couldn't see it. And by the time they do, it's too late.
They're arrogance incarnate.
Yep. And so so Obi-Wan agrees to it's the final wish of Qui-Gon is train the boy. Okay, because what else am I gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. That he loses the rat tail. It becomes a
Jedi Knight.
Yes, he becomes a Jedi Knight, and then Anakin all of a sudden gets a rat tail. It's
like the training braid. Yeah,
like your hair wasn't long enough to do that.
I know it's so weird looking at him with it, but okay.
Yeah. It's a clip on.
Yeah, it's a clip on. It's a clip on a rat braid. Rat tail until it grows it.
It's Obi-Wan's braid. He cut it off and he's like, I'm gonna clip it onto you now. You're gonna wear my braid.
Yikes.
This is mine. It was Qui-Gon's before me.
There are many like it, but this one is mine.
But yeah.
Yo!
But yeah, so obviously when we get to the end of the film and we get the generic parade trophy ceremony, basically.
Oh, at Life Day?
Yes.
It's really the only parade, except for, I mean, I guess if you want to count the ending of
New Hope.
Well, that's not a parade. That's just a ceremony. You know what I mean? Like,
we get the whole ceremony on the stairs.
So is this one.
Yeah.
But that's like a grand celebration, though.
This was something that was planned beforehand. They just happened to be like, oh, hey, look, this super important thing happened, so let's make it more important.
Peace!
It's like, yeah, you enjoy it while you can. We know we got two more movies.
We get one more fuck me eyes between Padme and little Annie.
Which is yikes.
I haven't seen her in 10 years, Master.
And so I'm convinced they did a 10-year jump to ensure that Jake Lloyd is not coming back for the next one.
That was basically what they did. Because I mean, he went from 9 to 18 or 16.
Yeah.
16 or 18.
So you figure there's no possible way the actor we replace him could be any worse.
And then you get Hayden Christensen.
Hayden Christensen
is not a shitty actor per se, but it's once again you add that because look, Natalie Portman She had bad delivery of lines in this movie.
You know what? You're right.
Had bad
She
delivery.
didn't have
Qui-Gon
good
had
delivery
bad
of lines in
delivery.
this movie.
It's not. It has to do with how George was directing it and how the script was. You have three fantastic actors in this movie between Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor, and Natalie Portman, and even they delivered the lines poorly. So you can't blame Hayden Christensen for it. But Hayden Christensen had to show the most emotion out of everyone else in these next two films.
It's true, but there are a lot of decisions, and you know, we'll get into them, or whoever's in the next couple episodes, you'll get into them a lot more in depthly, I'm sure. But I mean, he makes some really interesting acting choices, and I get it. George didn't really direct him or anyone very well. He's not an actor's
you kind
director.
of feel like more or less like if you got the lines right, then we're gonna keep that scene.
Yeah, it's like, was that good, George? More passion. In what way? Just passion. I don't know.
Passion.
I hate them. Great.
Yeah, that one works, I guess. Yeah.
That's good. Let's go on to the next scene.
You underestimate my power. Like, oh, Jesus. God. Hey, Ewan, just say high ground a bunch of times. And there you go. There's
now I want you to really sell how much you hate sand. But don't go over the top because you're still a Jedi.
Oh, I don't even care if I'm on that episode. I just want to watch like the reactions when y'all get to that moment.
Attack of the Clones while everyone else attacks me viciously.
There's nothing I can say to that conversation that they won't already just attack you head. Yeah, I don't envy you, sir, for what you are going to endure in that episode. So that's a special spoiler for the next episode.
I like Attack of the Clones. Sue me.
That's a heavy cross
there it is.
to bear there,
it is. Yeah.
Yes. Don't bash us. Us was a fantastic film.
I still haven't seen it.
Hands Across America.
I couldn't say.
I said that's a heavy cross to bear.
Oh, he said Hands Across America.
Hands Across America.
I was like, why are you
a heavy cross to bear? Jesus Christ! What the fuck?
It's like you all heard three different things. Heavy cross to bear, Hands Across America, and then whatever that last thing Jay just said.
It's 1 a.m.
Hands Across a Bear.
It's 1 a.m. and I'm all hopped up on cold medication, so sue me. But yeah, so that's Phantom Menace, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the review.
It's called the Phantom Menace. Yes,
Phantom Menace from Jay Burns. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We got seven or eight more of these to go if you count the prediction episode. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review, or not review, but this video,
retrospect.
Yeah, it was retrospective or video.
I predict they will watch the prediction episode.
Oh, I 100% agree that they will, especially once I tell everyone who's on the show, which I'll probably try to get all of y'all on the show at one time because that would be a bunch of talking heads. But yeah, if you guys feel like
try to get Smets.
Spence is gonna be too busy with Spectacular. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, you guys feel like this is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with the latest videos that pop up on Sean's Movie Crusades. Obviously, we're all gonna be back here again. I don't know if it's gonna be Jay and Mark per se, but definitely some more Movie Crusaders are gonna be on as we are going to talk about episode 2, Attack of the Clones. That one is going to be very painful for me, I'm assuming. Mark's face is selling it all already. Mark, where can people find you?
You can find me at Twitter and Instagram at Mark the Bat. You can always find me and my show, Mark Talk Podcast, on Anchor and everywhere else you can find podcasts. And also, don't forget to check us out at Multiplex Entertainment and Full Metal Trivia, where we are taking them down one at a time. All
right. Yes, free show, 100%. And Jay Burns, I know that we've done this many a times, and usually you give me every different answer possible. But Jay, where can the people find you?
On Twitter at jburns253. In the movie trivia face-off, being the jobber for everybody until I play one Mark the Maniac Kamayer. You can find me and said Maniac playing in Multiplex as a team known as Necronomicon, where we will crush your dreams and sacrifice you to eldritch beings. You can also find me and Douglas Castle playing some D&D every Friday, 8:30 p.m. PST, 11:30 p.m. EST, under Transvail. You can find me on Spotify and iTunes under The Adventures of Transvail as well. If you want to listen to people nerd out about things other than Star Wars. But if you want to watch people embarrass themselves, what you really need to do is watch the New British Empire try to play trivia. If you don't know who they are, that's completely fine. But Sean, where can the good people find you, sir?
Well, obviously, you can find me on all the social media outlets you see below. Plus, you can find me on Facebook. And if any of us, fellow movie crusaders here, if you guys want to talk about movies, feel free to leave your comments on this episode or on any of the social media outlets. We will definitely get back to you on them because we all like talking about movies, whether it be I almost said Transformers, whether it be Star Wars or any films at all. Don't forget to check out the videos that are currently on Sean's Movie Crusades on YouTube. Like I said, Jay and I did a awesome spoiler review of Jojo Rabbit, so be on the lookout for that. And then, of course, obviously, we got 8 more of these coming down as we're going to hit every episode, and then obviously our prediction episode leading all the way up to Rise of the Skywalker. But yeah, Mark, Jay, thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully we'll have you on the next show as well as potentially some other movie crusaders. And until next time, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, movie crusaders, and may the force be with you.
Always.